You know, when we're face painting what people love the most. And for a lot of them, that's sports. I'm gonna take you through 4 of my most requested ball designs. I'm showing you a few ways to also spiff them up and keep them exciting, keep it fun for you and for the kid. So come on, let's get started. When you're painting balls, most of the time, you're going to be painting a circle. And I have a few different ways. We can paint a messy blob and then just fill it out until you feel like it is the right size, it's the right shape. It's one of the few times that you really want it to be crisp from the beginning. The next way that we can paint our circle is you get a round brush instead of a filbert, and usually I draw half a circle that I can't see, and then I come in and I draw the other half of the circle to match. And we can just color it in. So either one of those works great. The last one is loading up a square brush. So this is a flat brush. It's going to use a sports term, which is kind of cool, right? We're just going to pivot. You keep the inside still while the outside is moving. So let's start with a basketball. Of course, basketballs are almost always orange. I would stay true to form and keep the color that they're expecting. Now remember, every line tells a story, and we are trying to talk about a 3D sphere that communicates the shape a whole lot better. So here we go. We're just going to do a really light tracing all the way around the ball. We're going to add 2 half circles. We're going to bring a circle this way. And then the last line on the basketball is usually a dashed one. Like imagine that your brush is a sewing machine. Add a little bit of white. Anywhere you see a corner, I like to catch both corners. If you do all of them, it ends up being too much. And then maybe one up here. This is one of the times I like to pull out a stencil. So I just have some star blends. This is the HAS 5061. It's just a whole bunch of little circles. That is just so effective in communicating that this is a ball. And it even looks nice if you sponge a little bit of that same texture. This one is where I'm going to show you what it looks like to add a little bit of tribal. So we're going to bring one line down and we're going to bring one line up. And we want to go thin to thick to thin. So we just want to make sure that that goes straight up to the ball. Let's maybe add one more strike coming down. So now we've got this awesome loop. Ooh, I love that. Here up on top, we're going to pull a line in and then we're going to bend one out and actually go on top of the basketball. Let's have this top line decide to come backwards, and that can kind of give us another variation. There are some other fun basketball-y things that we can totally do. Spidey Man taught us all how to do webs. You guys get where I'm going with this. This can be a really fun way to add a name up here, putting in the player's favorite number. So for the rim, we just need a little rectangle that has this coming out, thin in the back and then thicker up front. That's going to help us with our perspective. So then we just come in with our Spidey lines. This net design looks good too. So we're just doing X's. And then I really like to have there be a shine on the rim, or you could even throw in a sparkle star. I have a secret guilty pleasure whenever I sparkle on a boy. Then we can even do a few little lines like that, just 3 simple teardrops that show this basketball is traveling. It could be fun to just throw on here. Nothing but net, baby. So, okay, those are just some ideas. Let's move on to our next one. Now, I like to have my baseball powdered first before I add in everything else. And then I just need one little bump here and then a little bit bigger of a bump right in the center of my circle. But then from here, I'm going to go straight to my black. And I love making baseballs that look like something else. So this one is going to be a little angry. And then we can add a pupil right here. Bring this top line around and down here. And then we want kind of a bulbous nose. And then we want a lip that comes up and back down and curves. Link that back up. So you can see we really want to keep this very circular. We want to use this line as a chance to show that it's curved. And then we can just do little lines down. This is just the stitching of that baseball. And we're going to hit the top of that eye. And then we're going to come down, up, and down. We just put the little lines on, and you can do X's or dashes. If this line looks intimidating to you, it would be just as great to just do that line right here. They end up looking like stitches or scars on his face, which make it even that much cooler. To make him look really angry, we can just do a really thin outline of that eye. So we can have our little motion lines like we did with the basketball. You want to think of it as drawing letters instead of writing. And if we bend these around, it looks even better. Reich. Got that right in there. We can do some highlighting of any of the edges, whiten up those teeth. Do a dentist commercial right here. So then you can also highlight that eye a little bit more. The second part of the baseball that we can always add, we've got the bat that can go behind. Instead of the movement lines, we can have like a sunburst. So there are a whole bunch of ideas all around baseballs. So I'm gonna star blends this one again, and we're looking for some soccer, or for those of you across the pond, we're gonna do a nice football. I'm gonna just add a shadow, and you can do this in any color. And now we're ready for our black. These initial circles all the way around, it's something that you really want to pay attention to, that you're getting a nice crisp and clean circle. We're gonna just draw a pentagon, 5-sided figure, right here in the middle. Then we just draw a line straight from the edge, and if you add a little bit of a bend, that can be kind of nice. And then we're just going to draw a triangle onto each of these lines, and that should make a hexagon in white. So then we just fill these all in. We just, again, look for corners. You see how instead of a straight line, I'm kind of giving it a bubble look? That again helps us communicate that we've got this nice round ball shape. So we would have our lines coming from below this time to show that it's bouncing up. And one of the special things about soccer is that it's played on the ground. And so this ball is on the ground a lot. So I've loaded a little filbert with 2 colors of green, and now our ball's in the grass. Often soccer is one that girls like as well. Sometimes I'll do like a little flower bow kind of thing to the ball. I think that that's cute. Of course, we know that soccer is played with goalposts. Let people know that this goalpost is round with a little bit of line work if we want to. Bring this netting down. Just adding that little extra, this is where this ball fits, can really help say more. So then goal, whatever you want. It's a whole lot of fun. All right, so this is football. And I saved this one for last because it's not a circle. We are going for an egg shape that's pointed on both sides. And it's kind of important that we get the initial shape the right way. There's this like line of symmetry right here. And then we're just painting it brown. So I like to focus on probably the back third, and that's going to be where this fire is coming from. Arc up, and then I curve down, and I arc up again. I just flip my brush, and I do the same lines right next to it, and that gives me some really nice fire. And then with just the side, I'll come back in and fill that in. Now we can come in the middle and do thin to thick to thin all the way up. And you can see every single time I draw fire, it looks different. It gives me the chance to fill in the face. And so you can even have little tongues of flame that aren't attached. This thing is like pelting to the ground, and I love that. If you were to do it in the opposite direction, now we've got like a little football rocket ship. And so the flame communicates that, and that's really important to remember. We don't want to just do a straight white line right here. We want to give it just the slightest bit of arc right there. And then we do the same one right here, slight arc. And then instead of doing this line straight in the middle, I like to move it up just a little bit. Come in here with our little stitch lines. Did our color, time for some black. You can come in here and you can add a little shadow line. And we just like to put this, do across the top and then across the bottom. I didn't go to meet that line. I went and I stopped here. So that's just one little trick. One of the easiest face paintings in the world is just this cheek smear paint to keep the sun out of their eyes or whatever. Kids love it. They love looking like a football player. So that is a really easy, fun one to add if somebody wants a football, is just put those on either cheek. One of my favorites is to put a little football player with the ball and stuff. But again, we're trying to keep this simple. So what are some words we can do? I love when you have the chance to add a joke to your face paint. Like, oh, flag on the play. You know, we were so excited and now we can't be anymore. The football is also one I really like to add texture to. The thing that I love about using star blends, it's not going to pull that paint because the paint's dry and the star blends are dry. So I'm just doing like a smiley face to follow that bottom line. And you can see how much that one little whoop right there at the end added to that. And now this has really 3 or 4 layers.